I manifested reaching 10,000 followers on TikTok with this method. I've manifested so much with this method, and it's real and it works. And it's so simple and it's so easy, and it's something that you have to think about once and then you never have to think about again. Warning, disclaimer, if you are not ready to have your life completely flipped upside down, if you're not 110% ready to get your manifestations, then do not watch this video, okay? Because this method is tremendously powerful, it's tremendously effective, and I'm gonna teach you exactly what it is right now. Hello my loves, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Haley and I help people recognize their full potential by exploring all aspects of the mind-body connection. It's been a minute since I've done one of these pillow talks and I have to be honest, I really miss it. I love kind of just like sitting down in a more chill setting and sharing with you guys things that have been going on in my life and things that I'm working on. And what I want to share with you tonight is the manifestation method that has changed my life. Has quite literally changed my life. Like, this method has changed the game for me, and I made a TikTok about this a while ago, but I really wanted to do a sit-down video to get a little bit more in-depth with it so that you guys can use this method for yourselves. Learn through my mistakes, okay? It's taken me 7-8 years to really kind of learn more about the law of attraction and manifestation, and through that process, I've done a lot of things that don't work, and I've done a lot of things that have not led me to where I'm trying to go. But this method that I'm about to share with you today is going to change the game, all right? So take a second. Grab a notebook, grab some pens, grab some paper, get ready to go. Grab yourself a beverage, preferably non-alcoholic. You know we don't drink around here. Like I had mentioned earlier on in this video, I have been studying the law of attraction for years. The first introduction I had to it was the documentary The Secret back in 2013. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. If you're not, it's pretty much the baseline jumping point, starting point for anyone that's looking to get into the law of attraction and manifestation. And that documentary really opened my eyes, and it kind of was like the first thing that led me down the entire rabbit hole of spirituality, but in the moment I didn't really have a full understanding of it. Back then, high school me, I kind of just assumed that thoughts became things, and I would always just try to think happy thoughts all the time, not knowing that there was so much more that went into the equation beyond just thinking happy thoughts. So that was like my first introduction to it. I've been looking at this stuff, studying it for years. It's really just been this like never-ending journey of exploring and unraveling and learning and unlearning even. And I really had I would say my first spiritual awakening back in 2019, and that was a really big catalyst for me to dive even further into this stuff and to really take it to a whole nother level beyond just the, you know, thoughts become things, think happy thoughts, because there's so much more that goes into it. So I just want to kind of add that disclaimer to this at the beginning. I'm not just somebody who has like randomly stumbled upon scripting and manifesting on TikTok. Like, I've been studying this stuff for years, and you know, I'm not an expert, you know, by any means. I don't have any certification for it, but I do certainly have a pretty wide breadth of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. So that is what I wanted to kind of just like baseline throw in your face here before we get started. So I don't even know where to start with this. There's so many components and there's so many layers to it. The first thing that I'm gonna start off by saying to you guys is that one of the biggest keys to manifesting and to scripting and to the law of attraction and using the energies of the universe to your advantage is your ability and your capacity to let go. I know it sounds really counterintuitive, but that is one of the biggest things that I have learned in my life and on my journey, is that letting go is such a crucial and such a key part of allowing the universe to kind of just do its job and allowing the energies to flow and allowing your manifestations to come into fruition and to come to you. And when you first discovered this stuff, if you're anything like me, when I was first learning about it, I would just constantly be thinking of what I was trying to manifest. I would be like choking it, stifling it, because I was so obsessed with wanting it to come into fruition that I didn't even give it a chance to breathe or room to really, you know, come into existence. This method is a really great way for you to be able to do that tangibly in almost a ritualistic fashion without making it so much a ritual, if that makes sense. So that's something that's really important to understand, is just your ability to let go is going to affect how powerful you are as a manifester. Really, less is more. I truly believe that, and a great example that I like to give to people is like when you think of romantic interests in a movie, when you think of the hot girl or the hot guy, not that they're aloof, but they're usually very confident in who they are to the point where they're never desperate for anything. Think about it. I have so many like chick flick movies that come to mind when I think of this, of like the girl chasing after the guy or the guy chasing after the girl. The one that's chasing is putting out the energy of desperation and also the vibrational place of lack, which is pushing whatever they're desiring away from them, which is the person that's, you know, aloof but also confident and hot and like comfortable in their own energy. They're never chasing anything. And it's like the mantra that circulates around TikTok. I know you've all heard it. I don't chase, I attract. What comes to me will find me. That is such a powerful energy to embody beyond just the surface level of that. Think about the words you're saying. I don't chase, I attract. When you say that, when you affirm that to yourself, you are relinquishing your need to control, and you're relinquishing your need to have this like incessant need to know when things are gonna happen, how they're gonna happen, why, etc. You know, it's like learning to just let go. There's something very attractive about people romantically when they're not super desperate, right? It's the same principle with the universe. There's something that's very attractive to the universe, and we just kind of take a step back and say, you know what? I don't chase, I got it. It's like Ariana says in her song, I want it, I got it. Have faith. Your ability to let go is the first biggest key to really understanding how you can be the most powerful manifester. So once you've got that, right? Once you've kind of like absorbed that, you've let that really permeate into your mind, I think we're ready to really dive into what my method is now. And I'm gonna walk you through step by step, okay? So the first thing that you're gonna need is a pen and a piece of paper. Now you can either use a journal, you can use printer paper, you can use pretty, stationery paper, whatever paper you like, the choice is yours. You're just gonna wanna grab some paper. The second thing that you're gonna need for this method is a mirror. Now stay with me here. I know this is gonna sound a little bit strange, but you wanna find a mirror that's in a room in your house that you spend a lot of time in. So, for example, I have a mirror in front of me in my bedroom right now. The mirror that I've chosen for this exercise that I'm about to share with you is actually in my bathroom because, let's be real, I spend a lot of time in the bathroom. I'm in there getting ready in the morning, I shower in there, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm doing my thing. I spend a lot of time in the bathroom, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do too. So take a moment to really think about what room in your house you would be spending the most time in, where you would be looking in the mirror the most. Like I said, for me, that just happens to be my bathroom. You've got your materials, you got everything ready to go. The next thing that you're gonna wanna need here, this one is optional depending on how you're feeling and what your resources are, is a dry erase marker. Now, in case you guys didn't know, you can use dry erase markers to write on mirrors and it's gonna wipe off just fine, okay? Trust me when I tell you. Make sure it's dry erase though. Make sure it's one of those like old school expo markers that you would have used in middle school to write on the whiteboard. You wanna make sure it's dry erase because it's gonna come right off a mirror, no problem. So now that you have all of your materials, all of your supplies ready to go, you are ready to get into this, okay? So with your journal, with your piece of paper and your pen, I want you to make a few categories on your sheet of paper. Now you can do this like step by step to make sure that you have enough room. I don't want you to like limit yourself, but when I do this, I like to break my life into a couple of main like key areas to focus on when it comes to manifesting. So these are the categories that I would recommend for this ritual. First one is going to be health. Second one is career. Third one is relationships and family. It really doesn't matter. You can kind of just like pick and choose what resonates with you. Sometimes I combine categories. So sometimes for me, I'll combine family and relationships with self-development and, career and finance with something else. It really kind of just depends. Whatever like the key areas are in your life that you want to focus on for your manifestations, I would recommend picking just those. So like I said, make 3 different categories. I think health, career, and family and relationships are a great place to start. So what I like to do is to move one by one. So there's a few little tips that I want to give you before we really get into the meat and the bulk of what this process is. When you're writing for this, I want you to be very intentional with the words that you use and very intentional with the language that you're using. The biggest and most important thing here is to write things in the present tense as if they have already happened, or the past tense, like as if they've already happened. So basically, for example, you can say, I'm so happy and grateful that I've reached my goal of working out 5 times a week. I'm so grateful that I'm strength training 3 times a week and I'm doing cardio in the morning 3 times a week and I'm feeling super vibrant and super healthy and super in alignment. Now notice the language there. That's different from what you'd maybe typically do with scripting. I am so happy and grateful that I am going to work out 5 times a week. Notice the difference between that, what I just said, and I'm so happy and grateful that I work out 5 times a week, that I am crushing my workouts, that I wake up early in the morning to go for my run, and I'm doing strength training 3 times a week on top of it. It's very small difference, right? But it makes the world a difference when it comes to manifesting, because words are spells and words carry vibrations. So it's very important that everything that you're writing is written as if it's already happened to you or as if it's your current reality right now. So a great way to do that is to just kind of remind yourself at the top of your sheet of paper, you can write, I am so happy and grateful now that, dot dot dot. I think that's actually a prompt that they use in the documentary The Secret, but that's a great prompt to remind you to keep things in the present tense or written about as if they've already happened. So, like I said, health is going to be the first category. I like to go in with each line item in very specific detail and very specific order. So I talk about, fitness goals that I have in terms of like running and cardio and strength training, and then nutrition goals that I have. Goals for my skin, for my hair, for my body, for my well-being, my immunity, my vitality, everything. I think about every health goal and I go through this process. Once you've done that in very specific detail with a language that's very, poignant and very much so reflective of the fact that that is already your reality, then you're gonna move on to the next category. So then you'll move on to career. You do the same thing for career. So for example, I'll share a goal of mine. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have passed 100,000 followers on TikTok. I have so many amazing followers and I've built such an incredible community, and I'm so grateful for each of those people that care about what I have to say. That's one of my current goals right now, and I'm speaking about it as if it's already happened. That is the most crucial thing when it comes to the scripting process, okay? So go through any career goal that you might have. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. If you have a certain numbers goal that you want to hit, like I said, for my TikTok following, I had a specific number goal. If you have a financial goal of how much money you want to be earning a month or a year or a week, if you have a career goal of a job title that you want, of what it's going to be, then speak about that. And then don't be afraid to get into details. Like, what does your everyday life look like with that career goal? Like, what are you doing every single day? Be specific, be bold, and like I said, keep it in the present tense or the past tense as if it has already happened. So I think you're kind of getting what I'm putting down now. You're going to do that same thing for relationships, honestly, whatever category you want. I know this can sometimes seem like it's a selfish practice, but if there's things that you want for other people, then you can also include that in a separate category. For friends and family, loved ones. It's totally up to you. The world is your oyster with this. The opportunities and the options are really endless. It just depends on what you're looking to manifest and what resonates with you. So once you have gone through every single category, you're going to take a nice look at your sheet of paper that you've got there. Now, this is what I'm going to say. You can put in what I'm going to say is optional now. Now, this is something that I have done for myself, and it's totally optional for you. I've done this a couple of different ways. So you could take that piece of paper that you've written out each of these categories on, and you're literally going to take some tape. I forgot to mention Scotch tape in your list of materials, and you're going to tape it up on the mirror in the room that you have chosen that you are spending the most time in. Now, the other option that you have here, and I have done this, it's a little bit extensive, it's totally up to you, it just depends what works for you. You can actually take what you've written on your sheet of paper and write it out on the mirror with the Expo marker. So you're physically writing it on the mirror as you're looking at yourself. That's an option that you can do, or you can do what I'm about to posit to you right now as a second option to build upon that. And that is that once you have taped this list of your scripting onto the mirror and you've got it kind of laid out on it wherever it is that you want, you can take the Expo marker and write out some affirmations that connect to your goals and connect to your manifestations next to the scripting or on the other side of the mirror. It's totally up to you. This is just something that kind of helps me really strengthen into my subconscious what it is that I'm trying to manifest. Like I said, it kind of just depends on the mood, and it depends on what has come into fruition, what hasn't, what I'm cycling through, what's past, what's here, what's coming, for me to really decide what I want to do. But it's a totally, optional thing. I think it's really powerful to actually, for the first time you're doing this, take the Expo marker and write out these, lines of scripting on the mirror itself. Now you might be thinking, Haley, I have a very small mirror. I don't have room for that. That's okay. Pick out like a top 5 small line item things that you could write on the mirror, your top 5 goals, and just write them, with the Expo marker on the mirror. Choice is yours. Like I said, you have a little bit of leeway here with what you want to do. You can really do whatever you want with this, whatever works for you. As of right now, I have my scripting boards, or my papers rather, I have my scripting papers taped on the mirror, and I have some affirmations that go along with them on the other side written in the Expo marker. Once all of that is done, what I want you to do is, this is the final part of, this ritual, so to speak. A couple other pointers I'll throw in there. If you really want to, elevate the mood or elevate the ambience, I would light a candle. I would get some healing frequency music playing in the background. If you have crystals, you can introduce that into your ritual as well. What you're going to do is stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror, and read each of them out loud to yourself as you're looking at yourself. It sounds crazy, and you're going to feel a little bit silly doing it for the first time, but I'm telling you, this is what I think is the most powerful component of this ritual, among other things. When you're looking in the mirror and you're saying these things about yourself, you are affirming to yourself, I'm looking at a mirror because there's a mirror behind me right now. You're affirming to yourself that that is your reality, that is who you are. And the key thing here is that you're only going to do this one time. So you're going to say everything out loud and consciously read it and go through this process out loud of looking at yourself just once. And now I'm going to explain to you the second reason why doing this just once is also a very powerful component of this ritual in particular. Doing this just once is your way to set it and forget it. Let's backpedal a little bit, all right? So you lit your candle, you have the music playing, you've got your crystals, whatever it is that resonates with you, whatever it is that your heart desires, you've set the stage. You read each of your line items, you read each scripting, prompt to yourself, feel the emotions, feel as if you already have that reality. Feel how good it's gonna feel to, run 5 times a week and live 3 times a week, or feel how good it's gonna feel when you reach 100,000 followers on TikTok. Whatever, it is that you're manifesting for yourself. Let yourself feel that. Go through the motions, look at yourself as you're reading everything, and then after that, you can just, thank the universe, God, source, whatever it is that resonates with you, thank the universe, blow out your candle, put your crystals back, turn the music off, and go about your day. And that's it. You don't think about it again. This is the key to this ritual, is that you never consciously think about it again. You never consciously do what we just did more than once. You set it and forget it. And this is the most powerful part of this ritual. The reason why it's so powerful for you to have gone through this ritual once and then to completely forget about it is that, if you remember when we started this, we chose a mirror that's in a room that we spend a lot of time in. So the bedroom, the bathroom, whatever it is where you're looking at yourself a lot. When you're going through your daily activities, you're going through the motions of, showering up, getting dressed in the morning, you look at the mirror and you leave the room. You're not consciously thinking of that mirror. You're not consciously thinking of every single thing that's written on the mirror. But what's really powerful about this is that your subconscious mind is what's actually in control of bringing you your manifestations. It's not your conscious mind. Although we can still affect the subconscious through the conscious, this is where the power really lies. Once we've gone through the ritual and we've said it and we've forgotten about it, it's only our subconscious mind that's paying attention to what's actually written on the mirror. So that's why every time you walk through that room, every time you're brushing your hair, you're looking in the mirror, or even just being in that room, whether you're consciously thinking of it or not, your subconscious mind is always going to pick up on what's been written down on that mirror, and it's always going to be having it kind of just like percolate there in the background. And like I said, the subconscious mind is what is predominantly responsible for manifesting, and that is why this method is so freaking powerful, is because it's a great way for you to just let your subconscious mind do its thing. And sure, it's okay to think about what you want to manifest every now and then. I'm not telling you that you have to write all of this stuff out and then never think about it again. When we get into that trap of don't do this or you need to do that, that puts you in that lack and that scarcity mentality where you're then going to be really trying to control what you're thinking about too much and what you're not thinking about too much, and then you're just going to wind up getting in the way. So it's going to become this whole crazy whirlwind. I just like to, tell people to just be chill about it. Once you've written it down, trust that it's coming. Okay, this is a very powerful method. Trust in yourself, trust in the universe, let the universe do its thing. Think of what you've written down on that mirror as you placing an order on Amazon, and then, you've gone through the shipping process, the order's confirmed, and you just know it's coming. Because I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think about what I wrote on that mirror consciously at all. It's not something that crosses my mind throughout the day at all. When I'm in there sometimes, maybe if I look at the mirror too long, I'll think about it and I'll say, oh, cool, everything's really coming true, and it's not something that's preoccupying so much of my conscious mental space. And that's the biggest thing that I really want to drive home with this is, if you want to use this method, go for it. I'm here to help. I'm here to share that with you. But the biggest key here is finding ways to use manifestation and the law of attraction that don't preoccupy so much of your conscious mental space. Because we need that space in order to create, in order to exist in the world, in order to show up in the ways that we can. We don't need it to be dwelling on things that we're trying to manifest, right? That's why this method is so powerful. It's a great way for you to just relinquish control and let go. And I have to be also honest with you guys, every single thing that I have written down on my sheet of paper has manifested in a span of less than 2 months. I am not exaggerating. I'm moving to a new state. I have a new job. I have personal things that I've manifested for myself that I don't want to, talk about that are kind of personal. I manifested reaching 10,000 followers on TikTok with this method. I've manifested so much with this method, and it's real and it works. And it's so simple and it's so easy, and it's something that you have to think about once and then you never have to think about again. I do also just want to add the disclaimer that You know, this is a really easy method to use. It's very powerful, but you also have to remember that in order for things to manifest, we do have to take action as well. So don't think that you can just do this and then sit on the couch and then magically there's gonna be like $1 million in your bank account. Action behind intention is also what's gonna get you to where you wanna go. So letting go of it mentally, right? Trusting that it's gonna come, not trying to choke it with your mind and think about it all the time, but also taking the action that's necessary. So like I said, if you're trying to grow a following on social media, you have to be real with yourself and say, okay, what active steps do I need to take in order for me to get there? And how can I just surrender to and trust the process of the universe, that the universe will meet me where I'm at, that my actions and my intentions will be met with the power of the universe, God, source, to get me to where I'm trying to go. That's what I had to do. I had to sit down and say, okay, what is my strategy? How am I gonna put myself out there? How am I gonna grow on TikTok to get to where I need to go? And how am I also gonna just trust the process? It's a very fine and it's a very delicate balance, and I can totally do another video on releasing control if that's something that you guys are interested in. If you try out this method, drop me a comment below. I'd be so curious to hear how it works for you. Follow me on TikTok. My username on there is Haley Noel. I don't really remember what my username is. I'll leave a link in the description, guys. Instagram as well. My DMs are always open. You can shoot me a message. I respond to messages on Instagram quite frequently, so definitely stay connected with me over there. Like this video. If you guys are interested in more manifestation content, definitely hit the subscribe button, and happy manifesting! I really am so excited to be sharing this method with you guys. Like I said, I don't know if this is a secret of any kind, but it's a very powerful method and it has proven to be incredibly powerful in my life. So without further ado, I am sending you so much health, wealth, success, happiness, abundance, peace, love, joy, prosperity, and everything your heart desires coming your way in 2022. Bye!